video, since I know a lot of people on the internet made some and really helped me out. I'm about to be a first-time camper, and I decided to go in on the Wenzel Klondike 8-person tent. I just wanted to give a few tips how I set it up, because like I said, I'm a first-time camper. I'd never put a tent together, and I thought some tips could be relevant to somebody who's in the same situation. Please ignore my overgrown lawn here. It's really bad. It's been raining non-stop, probably for over a week and a half. And today was the first day. Absolutely no clouds in the sky. It's gorgeous. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to give this tent a test run before we headed out into the wilderness. It's a huge tent, and it looks really sloppy. And I assure you that the stakes on the ground are as tight as possible from each other. So any slack that you see, all the waviness and unstructuredness, kind of doesn't strike me, the best. This is, pretty tight, and it still sags a bit there. You can see it looks like it's about to fall over, but I've left it out here for a good 30 minutes. It's kind of a windy day, and it's still standing. Now I don't have the well, there's a big gust right there. You can see just how much it buckles. But it has not come loose, and something tells me it will not come loose. It seems to be a pretty well-structured, dang, this is a good example. It seems to be a pretty well-structured little tent here. I will say that I forgot, first timer mistake here, I forgot to tie those two poles at the top. See if I can zoom in. There's a little strap laying right there that I was supposed to use to tighten those before I put everything together. And I failed to do so, so they're just hanging up there. I bet it'd be a little bit stronger had I done that. But you just saw that huge gust of wind, and tent's still standing. Kids have been in and out of it playing. Overall, I'm satisfied with my purchase. It is mid-March. We're planning a camping trip to Texas, Colorado Bend State Park, and so the weather is unpredictable, and we wanted a tent that could fit, our entire family, and had some sort of, ease to putting it up. I will say that I attempted to do it myself, tried for about 20 minutes, and then decided I needed to bring in some reinforcements, called my wife to come out here, and me and her were able to put it together in, I would say, 10 minutes flat. It was really easy, and I don't know how people claim to be able to do it on the internet in 20-30 minutes by themselves. I was not able to do that. That's not to say that they're lying. They're probably just way more experienced than I am. I'll show you inside here in a second, but we've already been inside, and it gets an absolute gorgeous breeze. I think this is going to be a really enjoyable tent to be outside with. The stakes that came with them seem pretty flimsy. I did end up buying a pack of these thicker ones. I'm not sure if you can really tell. I'm going to take them with me just in case. But the ones that came with them are the ones that are installed now. And the best advice I can give somebody who's never put a tent together before is, after you unroll it and you get it facing the direction that you want it, go by every corner. So I asked my wife to start here to stake that one in, while I was over here. We were both tugging at the same time, so across from each other, pulled it towards each other as far as it went, staked it in, moved to the next one right here, staked it in, next one, staked it in, went all the way back. That's why it's a little lopsided. It's not perpendicular to my deck here, because we didn't have it quite right. But once you have every single one of these little black straps staked in, then you insert the thin rods, the 2 long thin rods after you assemble them, in through the little red portion here, all the way through, and you just leave them, lay them flat on the floor, of course. Do that for both of those. Ignore the entrance for now. Just do the dome. Put this little elbow joint onto the 3-part pole, the thicker one, and just still laying on the floor. Put them all on the floor, facing away from each other. So I'm going to try to demonstrate what we did. I got on this side, she got on the complete opposite side. All of this was on the floor. I picked up both the poles, lifted them up this way, because they were laying, like I said, away from each other after you inserted the elbow joints. Lay them away from each other. That way it makes it easy to grab both of them, you know. Lift them both away from each other and stake them in briefly. There are these little, I don't know what to call them. I call them O-rings. This is where these tent poles go in. There's some for every single pole, structure pole you'll need. So for these thick ones, you have there, and then for these smaller ones, you have one there. So it makes it really easy to know what the angle needs to be. Just make sure this is really tight towards each other, because again, you know, we try to get rid of as much slack as possible, but even with me pulling, that slack still isn't gone. So I don't want to call it a manufacturing error, but maybe it's intended to be that way, designed to be that way, so it withstands a little bit more of the wind. Like I said, with my wife, it took about 10-15 minutes tops. And okay, so here's another thing. On the internet, everybody makes it seem like this is a really tall tent. I am 6 foot, and here I am. I don't know if you can tell. This is even with me. So this tallest portion here, I don't know, hopefully I'm in frame, gets me right about chest level. So you have to scoot down a lot. Not only do you have to make sure that you get down lower than that, but then the zipper makes you get down even lower. So you really have to squat. Anybody that says you can stand in this room must be super small. Like super small, maybe 4'5" or something, 4'6", no joke. Same goes with this entrance here, although this is a tiny bit larger than that one. Here's the inside of the tent. No pockets for these windows, so they're just essentially laying there. I'm sure I can roll them up, but I already did so earlier, and they just unravel like this one here. Beautiful breeze in here though when the wind is actually blowing. Now in the second one, here is the phone again on the top of my head, and you can see that I'm still not hitting the top. The top is still right there. So a 6'3", 6'4" person could easily stand up in this tent. What is there to say? It's big. I would say I'm personally going to use one twin mattress, blow-up mattress here for my wife. Likely a baby's crib, travel crib, right there. And then 2 sleeping bags, full-size, large sleeping bags, for one for my kids to share and one for me to sleep in. Right there. So it is a fairly large tent. It will not fit 8 people in here. They're under the assumption that you're planning on using this entryway here, this porch area, as a secondary room. That's the only way that you'll achieve the 8-person limit. That little open portion there, I'm not sure what to call it. I'll show you from the back. Comes with a little bungee cord, so you can open it. And those straps are attached, so you just have to pull it, and it's a vent. That's what it is. That's what it acts like, at least. Hopefully it works. Texas heat is really bad, so hopefully that airflow gets through the tent. Anyway, that's my review. Of course, you know, you've read all about the slack and the fabric. I don't care about that. Like I said, I'm a first-time camper. I just want my family to fit, and I don't want to completely suffocate in an oven. I mean, all of that is present in mine as well. If you've seen any of the other YouTube reviews, you'll see that people complain about that. That's not a big deal. I'm not a mountain tent camper, so I don't want things to be super tight. I was just mainly disappointed at the amount of slack right here, mainly. Made me think that I was doing something wrong. But anyway, this has already gone over 10 minutes.